Brook, Newfoundland, hockey is a way of life. The local arena, home to the Corner Brook Minor Hockey Association, is the bustling hub of the coastal city. But for a while, after money went missing from the Hockey Association, the future of the game was in jeopardy.
The money that was gone missing was essentially, money that came from parents, hardworking parents in the community. Money they had thought was for the enjoyment of their children playing hockey.
Darren Harview is the association's new treasurer, brought in after the former treasurer allegedly stole $80,000. The news hit the community hard. Harview says the damage ran much deeper than just the missing money.
It's very unfortunate, especially when you have a hockey community and everyone's involved in the hockey community. It's very disappointing when you come to the realization what you're facing in terms of what happened.
At around the same time, halfway across the country, details of a much larger case were emerging. The Ontario Minor Hockey Association oversees 225 local associations and about 300,000 players. It's not a volunteer organization, but run by paid professionals. According to court documents obtained by CBC, the association's director of finance stole nearly $2.4 million over a 6-month period to support an online shopping and gambling addiction. It's by far the most money ever stolen from a North American youth sports organization. League officials only found out about the theft when the employee confessed. She has pleaded guilty to 1 count of fraud over $5,000 and is awaiting sentencing.
We tend to trust our neighbors. We tend to trust the parents that are in these leadership roles within our sport clubs.
The University of Waterloo's Katie Meisner is one of a handful of academics exploring the crime of youth sports fraud. She says a number of factors make these organizations vulnerable. In most cases, money is handled by a single trusted person who knows the association's financial ins and outs.
They're great people and they contribute a lot of time and their own resources to those roles, helping kids be active and running the club. So we don't tend to think that Joe down the street, who's the treasurer for a hockey club, might embezzle funds.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of parents sign their children up for countless activities, like soccer, baseball, or gymnastics. These registrations represent hopes of physical fitness, life lessons, and success on the field. Parents are also pouring millions of dollars in fees into the coffers of youth sport leagues and associations.
Most parents involved in youth sports don't think that this is possible.
Eric Carosa is the founder of the Center for Fraud Prevention, an organization that helps youth sport organizations reduce the risk of theft.
In most cases, the community is shocked to learn that somebody would be embezzling from children in their sports program. However, knowing what I know about these organizations, it doesn't surprise me at all. They all tend to operate with a lack of governance and a lack of oversight.
A CBC Sports investigation found that in the last decade alone, nearly $8 million has been stolen or has gone missing from dozens of youth leagues and associations in nearly every province. $227,000 from a baseball league in Coquitlam, BC, $45,000 from a girls' hockey league in Woodstock, Ontario, and $53,000 from a hockey association in Grand Bank, Newfoundland.
My initial reaction was, how did it happen?
In the Ontario Minor Hockey Association case, Murray Taylor says many questions remain unanswered. Taylor is a lifelong coach and past president of the Newmarket Minor Hockey Association, an OMHA member.
I would have liked to have seen a lot more transparency. I mean, they are victims. And instead of just trying to pretend it didn't happen, I don't see the problem in saying, you know what, this happened. These are the things we've learned from it.
The OMHA's audited statements show much of the stolen money was recovered through insurance. Murray says that's besides the point.
This put a lot of kids at risk. It put a lot of the programming at risk. Minor hockey associations are not for profits. We are a zero-sum game. Nobody's making profits on this. And if they hadn't had that insurance, this could have really impacted a lot of hockey programs negatively.
The Ontario Minor Hockey Association has communicated very little to the thousands of families it represents about how it lost millions of dollars. The OMHA also refused our repeated requests for an interview, telling CBC in a statement it didn't want to affect the upcoming sentencing hearing. Carrozza says instances of adults taking money from youth sports is far more prevalent than what's reported. For a number of reasons, he says leagues don't report stolen money.
There's a reluctance on the board to file criminal charges because it's really their responsibility for the financial governance of the organization. And so in many regards, they're culpable for allowing this to happen.
Carrozza also says that even if parents suspect somebody is crossing the line, few press the issue.
I've seen parents who try and challenge organizations and ask questions, and what they're worried about is their children are going to be retaliated and maybe either get removed from the organization, asked to leave, or not make one of those important travel teams that they're hoping to make.
Back in Corner Brook, a different approach.
I think the most important thing for us was to be transparent with the parents, the community, creditors, basically anyone who had a question. We wanted to be able to answer it on the spot.
Through intensive fundraising and cost-cutting, the community has rallied together. The league's debts have been paid off, and the way it does business has changed.
There was no one single person that would be involved in whether it be the banking, the cash handling, paying employees. It's always a team approach. So I think that's what sort of gained the trust back with the hockey community, was just to make sure that, you know, there's always people watching.
Harview acknowledges rebuilding that trust will take time, but at least the focus is now back on the ice. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.